All right, welcome to the show. It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Thank you for joining us. Great show lined up for you today. We got a big game Saturday between Alabama taking on Lafayette. Alabama is a 49-point favorite. Doubt they're going to cover. We'll talk about that more in just a few minutes. I'm going to open up the show with Nick Saban press conference. I'm going to talk 3 observations, 2 questions, and 1 prediction here coming up on the show. I'm also going to provide defensive and offensive grades going into this week. Going to look at some team stats, and then we're going to open the lines for you guys to call in at 205-686-3604. Want to get your calls and talk this weekend's matchup, talk Alabama football in general. And I really want to gauge the show towards, does this team have an Achilles heel? Is there anything about this team that, is a potential weakness? What particular area? Want to get your calls in just a little while, 205-686-3604. Thank you for joining us tonight on the program. From where you're coming from, look, Mitch in Hawaii, thank you so much. I'll actually show you guys in a few minutes the care package I got from Mitch in Hawaii. Really grateful that Mitch will hook it up. So very cool stuff. Let's get it started with Nick Saban's press conference. Here's Nick Saban's press conference from Wednesday evening.
How's everybody doing? Good. Well, when I talked to you after the game, I said, or on Monday, I talked about, identifying some of the things that we need to do to improve and, everybody sort of identifying, focusing individually, collectively as units, each group, as well as each unit, as to what we need to do to try to improve. And I think the question every day that you can ask yourself as a player, did I get better today? Did I have the focus, the mental energy? Did I finish plays? Did I do things the way I was supposed to do them so that it gives me the opportunity to get better? And I think that if I was going to evaluate practice, I'd say we have a significant number of guys that probably did that. And I say we have a few guys that I don't know how they would answer that question. But it's important that we get everybody sort of buying in to doing things that way so that we can improve individually and collectively as units and groups. We've got the Coach for Cure, this week, which involves finding a cure for muscular dystrophy, which, we're very supportive of as an institution as well as individually. Nick's Kids is honoring our Teachers Excellence Award recipients at the game. Terry and I both were teachers at one time. Coaching is probably teaching. Teaching is really the ability to inspire learning. So we have a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for people who really give their lives to trying to help other people have more success. And I know some of the people that had the greatest impact on my life were some of the teachers that I had. I mean, I still remember them in 3rd grade, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 6th grade, 5th grade. Had a lot of good ones, and I was probably pretty fortunate for that. So we're happy to be able to do that this Saturday.
Coach, we'll start on the right here with Charlie.
With several players around the country choosing to transfer, what does it say about Jalen's character that he's still here and willing to continue to play for you guys?
Well, I think Jalen has been very, very professional about, the way he's sort of handled the situation he's in. I've said it's a unique situation. Nobody's ever been in this situation before. Won 26 games here, and now all of a sudden somebody else is playing. But what he has done is he's worked every day to try to get better. He's focusing on improving and, the value that he can get from this season because we're going to play him as much as we possibly can. He deserves to play. He's a good player. And there may be a time in the future where, he becomes the guy if something happens. So we're not hoping for that narrative, certainly, but I think it speaks volumes of his character to stick with his teammates, be a part of his team, finish the season. I've always said how much respect I have for both the guys, but Jalen has, and how you handle things when you're in a difficult situation, I think speaks volumes of who you are. The one thing we're all going to have in life is we're going to have a lot of problems. Life is difficult. How you handle the problems is the one thing that you can control. And I think that this is certainly an obstacle that will help him be more successful in the future, and the way he's handled it is certainly going to help him handle issues and problems that we all have in our lives in the future.
In the middle with Michael.
Just wonder what went into hiring Carl Scott coming from Lafayette. I know he'd just been named to D.C. there. How did that all come about that he came here?
Well, I was interested in him because he was at Texas Tech, so it didn't really, to be honest with you, when I sort of called about him to find out about him, I didn't really know he even left Texas Tech, so I didn't even know for sure he was at ULL. So that really had nothing to do with it. He had really good recommendations as a person, as a recruiter, as a teacher, and as a coach, where he's been in the past. Several coaches on the staff knew him, so he did a nice job in the interview when he was here, and he's done a nice job with the players on the team this year.
All right, that was Nick Saban talking about his opening remarks for Lafayette, which will be Saturday at 11 a.m. If you're just joining us, my name is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. All our coverage back on BamaInsider.com. Open up the line in just a minute. 205-686-3604. Want to get your call. Want to hear tonight if this Alabama team has an Achilles heel in some fashion. I mean, is there a weakness on this team? Right now, I mean, the way they're dominating opponents, it's pretty incredible. And this week, they are a 49-point favorite over Lafayette, if you can believe that. I don't think they're going to cover that, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. Before we start, I wanted to provide 3 observations and something that I just kind of wrote down before we got the show started. And I think the first point is the offense looks unstoppable with Tua at the helm, and I think that's goes without saying. I mean, what he's doing right now for Alabama football is really incredible, and I think what we've seen from him that's most impressive to me is his ability to spread the ball around the field. I mean, there was 8 or 9 receivers last week that got the football, and I really enjoy watching Tua especially make those downfield throws. I mean, that throw to Deonte Smith for the opening touchdown, I mean, that was an incredible play all the way around. And for Tua to put it right on the money. Now, credit to Deonte Smith, too, because that was a tough catch to make. I also really appreciate how Alabama's been able to get the tight ends into the mix. I don't think we've seen that in years past with Alabama. Helm caught 2 touchdown passes, and really good for him. I mean, just a class act individual. And then I really like how they've been using Irv Smith throughout this year. Irv Smith is a very talented target and someone who really does a great job after the catch. I mean, he's a big, powerful tight end with a lot of playmaking ability. And then you have Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, as I mentioned. But what Jerry Jeudy provides is he's that home run type hitter. He's the next Alabama receiver who's really going to make a name for himself. And I think he's got NFL written all over him. Now, of course, he's only a sophomore, so he's got a ways to go. But he's going to continue that lineage of Alabama wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, who we saw catch 3 touchdowns last week. I think Jerry Jeudy is that next guy out of Alabama. The running back game has been interesting because the passing game has been so successful at Alabama. We haven't really seen these running backs get distributed the football like in years past. Damian Harris, Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, Josh Jacobs, probably some of the most talented running backs, if not all 4 in the entire nation, and they're having to split up a limited number of carries, right? Najee Harris, I mean, I have the stats right here, which I'll show you guys in a little while. He's leading rusher on the team, doesn't even have 300 yards. So it's quite interesting going into week 5. Now, Alabama, I know you guys are saying this isn't a big game, but every game is a big game. It takes one loss and you're out of it in college football. Now, Alabama last year lost, and they lost late to Auburn, and they still got into the playoffs. But you cannot lose in college football. Point 2, the linebacker play, in my opinion, really needs to improve. I think Dylan Moses and Mac Wilson have been doing a really good job at the inside linebacker position, but I don't think it's where it needs to be quite yet. Now, we did see a lot of positive things from Mac Wilson last game. Even came down with that interception. I saw him bat down a ball, but I think those guys could really tighten up. Christian Miller and Anthony Jennings, want to see more from those guys, but and Saban keeps saying, a lot of these guys need to improve. And when you watch on Saturday, it's easy to think that everything is going right. But then when you look at the Pro Football Focus grades, you see that some of these guys aren't grading out where they're supposed to be. Point 3, I think the weakness is still special teams, not punt return, not kick return. I think we all know that punt, right? Like the punt team is probably their biggest weakness right now. Skylar DeLong, the true freshman, taking over for J.K. Scott. Very difficult to come in and fill those shoes. Skylar DeLong, his average per punt is, I believe, 39 flat, and has been getting the ball off slow. So that's something that certainly needs to improve going forward. You're listening to and watching the BamaInsider.com live stream right here on YouTube. I'll open the line up in just a minute. I want to take your calls and talk Alabama football, 205-686-3604. I wanted to also provide 2 questions along with those observations. Here are those right now. 2 question marks for this year's team. And I want you, when you guys call in, I'd like to talk about the weakness, if any, for this Alabama team. And one, what is Alabama's Achilles heel? I mean, okay, yeah, they don't have the best punter right now. But when you look at this team as a whole, could it potentially be quality depth on defense, right? I mean, it's a long season. We know that injuries do happen. And just like Nick Saban says, we're not hoping for that narrative, but are the guys in the second group of Alabama's defense quality enough to really step up and rise to the occasion later on the season? Last year, we saw a ton of injuries, especially to that linebacking core. And I don't know, it'd be interesting to see if Alabama could duplicate that type of success with the players that they have this year. My second question is, are the running backs satisfied? I'm looking at the stats right now. Let me get those for you guys so I can really paint the picture. And running backs want the ball, right? I mean, this is Alabama. This is running back U. And right now, the way that Alabama is passing the ball has really created an interesting dilemma in the backfield. Now, of course, none of the players are going to talk about it because, that's not their job. But from looking from the outside, Najee Harris, 38 carries for 246 yards. Damian Harris, 31 carries, 230 yards. The next leading rusher is Tua with 103 yards, then Brian Robinson with 22 carries, and Josh Jacobs with 23 carries. It's pretty incredible how they've had to distribute the football because, one, they're scoring so quick, and two, the passing game has really been on point. It's interesting to look at. I wanted to also provide one prediction, and that's just pretty easy right now. The prediction is that Alabama will not cover that 49-point spread. I don't think the game is going to be close by any means, but Nick Saban will not run it up on a former coach. Billy Napier, as you know, is a former assistant here at Alabama not too long ago before taking the gig at Lafayette. There's no way that Alabama covers that 49-point line. Now, Alabama's going to put it on the Raging Cajuns, but I don't think Alabama runs up the score. Nick Saban's just not like that, and I think that's a good move about college. I think that's something good for college football. I'm probably going to see plenty of Jalen play, as you saw in the earlier comments. Nick Saban says they're going to continue to play Jalen where he can fit into this program. Tua is the guy, and it is an interesting situation with what Jalen's done for the program, but Tua is clearly the guy, and when it's time for the second units to come on, you're going to see Jalen Hurts come on. Here's some offensive grades for this team right now going into Week 5. These are courtesy of Pro Football Focus. Tua Tagovailoa has an offensive grade of 92.4, which is just incredible. And so let me read you the column. So it's a player and then position, games that they played, and then the total, that's a snap count. So the higher the snap count and the higher the grade, that really paints a picture that this player is playing well throughout a lot of snaps. Irv Smith, as you see, 120 snaps, 87.7 for a tight end, really incredible. Jonah Williams having a great season as well. 248 snaps at tackle, 84.7. And Jerry Jeudy, just a sophomore, 81.0. Najee Harris, highest rated running back on the team, 81.0. Damian Harris, 75.2. Devontae Smith 73.7, and so forth. If you want to take a look at this, you can rewatch this video and pause it right here to get a better picture of where these players are at grading wise. I also post this premium information on BamaInsider.com. Here's a look at the defense. These are grades from Pro Football Focus. Higher the grade, better the player has performed through 4 weeks. The total is a snap count. Quinnen Williams having an incredible season. In fact, his number his grade keeps getting higher and higher. 94.7, followed by Deonte Thompson, 93.3. I think there was some reporters on Twitter today saying that Deonte Thompson could go as early as a top 15 pick in next year's NFL draft, if you could believe that. Johnny Dwight, he's only played 40 snaps, but he's grading out really high. So like to see his grade when he gets 150 snaps. Raekwon Davis, 192 snaps, 77.6. I think that's good for Raekwon. I don't think he's been as dominant as we've expected him to be, but he's still being productive, and his pass rushing grade is 69.8. Needs to improve. Quinnen Williams and even Isaiah Buggs, I think, have outshined him in this early season. Xavier McKinney at the safety position, 239 snaps, 76.5. Grade out. Shaheen Carter, 179 snaps, 76.2 grade out. Isaiah Buggs, 76.0. Grade really bumped up from last week. Passing rushing grade at 68.4. Tavita Musaka, who's only seen 33 snaps, still grading out really well. But like Johnny Dwight, I want to see more of these guys and how they're graded when they have 150 or so snaps. Patrick Surtain, as you can see, is playing a lot for a true freshman. 218 snaps, 73.9 overall grade, which is pretty incredible. Just behind him, Josh Jobe, getting some good PT at almost 50 snaps through 4 games, 72.8. Christian Miller down there at 72.7. I'm going to also show you guys, these are the defensive grades right now that are going to appear on the screen. These are the season grades, the season stats through 4 games. Deonte Thompson leads the team in tackles, 15 total tackles, 2 interceptions. Xavier McKinney also has the interception on the season. Dylan Moses, he's not grading out really well, but he still has quite a bit of tackles, 19 tackles, and actually led the team in tackles against Texas A&M. Isaiah Buggs with an incredible game last week with 3 sacks, now has 5 sacks on the year, which leads the team. Christian Miller down there, kind of in the mid-range, has 3.5 sacks and 12 tackles on the season. More grades for you. Let me get those for you guys. These are the offensive stats through 4 games, and as I mentioned, Najee Harris leads the team in the rushing with 246 yards. Tua Tagovailoa just completely balling out. Highest efficiency in the country at 230.46, 72.5% passing for 1,033 yards with 12 touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy leads the team in receiving, 17 receptions, 365 yards with 6 touchdowns. Just having an incredible year. Devontae Smith, 14 receptions, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns. Irv Smith, third on the team with 13 receptions, 196 yards, and 2 touchdowns. All right, we get back to the show. Thanks for joining us. And if you're just joining us, look, Mitch from Hawaii hooked me up with some authentic glaze from Hawaii, which I'm really humbled to get a gift from Hawaii. Also included some chocolates, some coffee, some mango gummies. So Mitch in Hawaii, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate it. Means a lot to me. Also gave me a handwritten note and just expressed how much the Islanders really love their football, and it's really great for them to have Tua right now at the helm just balling out. I'm sure the entire state of Hawaii is extremely ecstatic about Tua. I'm going to open up the lines now, 205-686-3604. Want to take your calls. Want to talk with you tonight about Alabama football. And is there an Achilles heel on this team? 205-686-3604. Give me a call. I want to know what you guys think about this team. If there's any type of potential weakness for this team and what that might be. 205-686-3604 is the call-in line. Line is open right now. You can call in. Voice off in Alabama football. If you don't want to talk Achilles heel, you can talk to me about this overall team and how they've been just rolling through opponents. Opened up the season with the 51-14 victory over Louisville. Then rolled past Arkansas State 57-7. Took down Ole Miss 62-7 and sliced through number 22 Texas A&M 45-23 last week. Lines are open right now on BamaInsider.com. You can give me a call, talk some Alabama football with me live on the show. And remember, when you guys call on the show, I like to always hear where you're calling from and who I'm on the line with. And it's always it's always interesting to get where you guys are calling from. So I'll read off some more notable stats going into this game this weekend, as Alabama is the big-time favorite against the Raging Cajuns, 49-point favorite. 205-686-3604 is the call-in line. Line is open for you guys to call in, talk some Alabama football, and here's some more notable stats. As you guys know, the game is at 11 o'clock. We got our first caller. Nice. All right. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and who are you calling from?
Hey, this is DJ from Ohio.
Oh, DJ, man, thank you so much for calling in, man. How was your day today?
It was pretty good, laid back. Work was good.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I see you all over. You're on the recruiting board. You're on the Talk of Champions. I love the enthusiasm, man. So you're on the show, man. What you got? Go ahead, shoot.
Hey, I just wanted to talk about people talking about the running game and the offensive line needs to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I think the offensive line going to be fine towards the end of the year. And I think Rick Key, I think he kind of don't live up to, like, the expectation because he have, like, the best offensive lineman. He's a good recruiter and all, but I think he could do a little bit better job. And I also think the Achilles heel is probably the punting game.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Skylar DeLong has really been struggling, but I think that could be just the fact that he's a freshman. So maybe we'll see some improvement, from him. I can only imagine taking over for J.K. Scott, coming into 100,000 and trying to punt in front of Bryant Denny. You know how critical the fans are. But with the going back to your thoughts on the offensive line, Alex Leatherwood seems to be struggling a little bit. And I would like to see some more improvement from him. I think we're starting to really see Jedrick Wills find his rhythm. The left side of the line seems to be fine, spearheaded by Jonah Williams. But I see Alex Leatherwood, and, I want to see more progression from him going forward. Would you agree with me on that?
I would definitely agree with you on that. And then I was kind of surprised they didn't try him on the left side during the beginning of the year since he did so good against Georgia. Because the other left tackle, he played right tackle to start off his freshman year. I think that was his best year, in my opinion. So I'm kind of shocked they didn't even try that combination,
Yeah, and you also have to remember that Matt Womack seems to slowly be making his way back onto the field. Remember, he was injured to start the season, so maybe Matt Womack could provide some more depth at the offensive line. But thank you so much for calling in, DJ. I'll catch up with you on the Talk of Champions message board. Is that cool?
Okay. Thank you. But I like what you said at the end of every show about the veterans too, because I work at the VA hospital, so I appreciate you for saying that.
Oh, yeah. As I always say on the show, we are really supportive of our past members of the United States military and present. I know there's a lot of people away from home, serving this great nation, and there's no better feeling to be free, and we certainly appreciate that. So thanks for calling in, DJ. I'll catch up with you next time.
All right, take care.
Take care. All right. Line is open, 205-686-3604. Call in right now. I want to talk with you. I want to get your thoughts on Alabama football. As DJ just mentioned, he's talking about the offensive line, talking about the running backs, mentioned the Achilles heel. Looks to be potentially the punting game, which I agree with right now. I think if we look the punt return game and the kickoff and the kick return game, they're dangerous, right? I mean, you do not want to kick to Alabama. Who wants to try to tackle Jalen Waddle? I mean, can you imagine trying to square up with him on the open field? I mean, talk about a tall task. And then you have Josh Jacobs returning kicks. I mean, Josh Jacobs, Did you guys see that block when Henry Ruggs got that pitch from Tua, took it up the sideline? I posted it on our Twitter account, and it's Josh Jacobs just with the major decleater, and he certainly runs. When he has the football, he runs mad. So call into the show, 205-686-3604. Get your thoughts on this squad, this Alabama squad that is slicing through the competition. Overall offensive grade, 88.8. And we got another call coming in. What's up? Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Yo, this is Rob in Colorado.
What's up, Rob? How you been, man? I love Rob. You always bring in the heat. I appreciate it. So, man, you're on the line. So, what you got for me, man? And where you been last show? You never called in. I was worried.
I know. I was on the road. I was driving with the family, but trust me, man. It was. I remember it was an hour-long show. It was a good show.
Hey, man, thank you so much for the support. So what's up, man? You're on the line. Go ahead, shoot.
Hey, remember it was some time ago. Somebody asked you about. Shoot, what's number 5's name on the D line?
Number 95.
Yeah.
Number 95.
He came ready to get Texas A&M.
Oh man,
Not King. Not King.
Is it Johnny? Is it Johnny Dwight?
Johnny Dwight, bro.
Yeah.
He looked like a mini me of not even a mini me. He looked like Quentin Williams next up or something, man. He came in there and he was balling out. Did you see him?
Yeah, you know what? Johnny Dwight, if you look at those Pro Football Focus grades that I put out there, he's grading out really well. He just needs more snaps. I mean, I don't think he's had over 50 snaps yet, but I think everybody keeps calling his name, and everybody – I mean, I get a lot of questions about him on the website as well. So I think he's one of those guys that could potentially – Alabama could start to pipe in more because Quentin Williams, I mean, he's going to need some blows down the stretch when we start to face tougher competition, and Johnny Dwight looks like he could be that guy.
Man, most definitely. I was very impressed with him. I want to see more of him. Hopefully we can get some guys some more reps in this game coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in, Rob. Take it easy, buddy.
Yep, see you soon. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, always, Rob. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That's Rob from Colorado. I always remember the first time he called in, or one of the first times he called me from Smashburger. It's like, I get it, because I watch YouTube channels as well. And when people call in, you watch your shows. Hey, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
This is Miles from Hayden. I just wanted to see what do you think about like Jalen possibly transferring with the new rule and everything, and Kelly Bryant, he's transferring. What if he went to Auburn? How do you think this Alabama team would fare against Auburn if they have Kelly Bryant on their team?
Yeah, thank you so much for the call tonight. I appreciate it. If you guys missed it, Kelly Bryant of Clemson announced that he is transferring after Clemson named Trevor Lawrence the starting quarterback. Similar situation to Alabama in a sense where the younger quarterback came up, proved he was better on the field, and took the starting position. Now, Kelly Bryant said that he didn't get a fair shake in the quarterback competition, and he's kind of left on sour terms. What we've seen from Jalen has certainly been he's been a class act, and I don't think that anybody expected less from him. Obviously, at some point, Jalen's going to transfer, likely after the season. If he plays in this game, he's going to stay the rest of the season. So if he plays against Lafayette, which obviously he's been at practice all week, he's going to do, he'll transfer at the end of the season. In terms of where Kelly Bryant will transfer, I don't know. I've heard Arkansas. I've heard a lot of people are saying Auburn. I'm not sure exactly where it could be, but where could Jalen transfer? I mean, I've heard Auburn as well.
I don't know where he would transfer. It seems like he would be like transfer to like Texas or something.
I was kind of thinking
A&M.
I was kind of thinking Texas as well. I mean, he could even fit into potentially an LSU type offense. I'm not sure, but
he'd be great at LSU.
I think so
too.
Because
LSU definitely needs a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they always need a quarterback, right? I'm not sure, but I think whoever gets Jalen after this season, they're going to get, somebody who's a winner, and he's proven that here at Alabama. So I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in tonight.
All right, thanks, sir.
Take it easy. Number to call in, 205-686-3604. Hit me up. Want to talk to you about Alabama football. Get your thoughts on, on this squad and to see if there is any type of Achilles heel. And, like the last caller, I think it was Hayden, asked about Kelly Bryant and Clemson, which is a similar situation to what Alabama is going through in terms of the younger quarterback stepping up to take over the longtime starter's place. And Trevor Lawrence, he's balling out. I mean, he's doing a good job at Clemson, and it'll be interesting to see if he can lead Clemson to the playoffs again. Hey, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. You're on the line. Where are you calling from and who I'm on the line with?
It's Tobias out of Phoenix. What's going on, Kyle?
Hey, what's up, man? Good to hear from you tonight.
Man, all right. I think there are some issues there with the depth on defense. And I believe the offensive line is not as, how should I say, physical and as dominating as they have been. But it still has time to grow. And that's just something I noticed. But also this, you talk about the running backs. I wonder how much of a monkey wrench was when Damian Harris surprisingly came back to school, played a factor and everything with the running back rotation.
Oh, yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, guys like Najee and Josh Jacobs probably behind closed doors. I mean, what were their honest thoughts? Because they know Damian's coming back and he's the man and he's got to get fed. I mean, they got to push Damian this year to 1,000 yards because, if Damian hits 1,000 yards, he'll be the first Alabama running back to run for 1,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons. There's no way that he does not get his 1,000 yards this season. So that means guys like Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs, who are totally capable of taking on big loads this year, even Brian Robinson, those guys are going to have to wait another year, which I'm sure is frustrating for those guys because they can you imagine what Najee Harris could do with 25 carries per game? Could you imagine what Josh Jacobs could do? Brian Robinson as well. Those guys are getting like 5 carries a game.
And that's just crazy how it works. People don't remember Alvin Kamara. He couldn't get carries. Derrick Henry had to wait because of the depth above them. But I know you got to go. But I think you talk about the Alabama offense. I think what makes it so difficult is that it's Tua. It's because he's so accurate. He is so accurate with that ball. It's like he's nothing like they had before. Was that he's so accurate? He has the arm. He has the athleticism. He has that vision, that next level vision. And I think he makes that offense unstoppable because they always had the weapons. He just had a guy that could maximize those weapons that they have.
Oh, I think you ding, ding, ding. That's the nail on the head right there. I think with him, he provides a complete Alabama team to what nobody in college football has seen just yet. I mean, because now you have an A+ quarterback, A+ running back, A+ offensive line, A+ wide receivers. Come pick your poison, like Damian Harris said. Do you want them to pass on you? Do you want to, because if you load the box, Tua's going to slice you up, right? And if you leave back, then Alabama can have all those running backs. All of them are going to be fresh. This team, what we're seeing right now, probably one of the better teams that Nick Saban has coached. And I know he doesn't like to compare the teams, but looking at the numbers and looking at the arsenal that this team has with Tua, watch out. Who wants Alabama now? I want to see some of those signs now. Who wants Alabama? Be careful what you ask for because this team, if they really wanted to, they could drop 70 or 80 on you any game.
You're right, and my last thing I'll say is I was glad that Tua got a chance to play into that third quarter last week.
Yep.
It was a little tough for him. The defense was aggressive at A&M, and that he had a chance to adjust and go through those ups and downs. And I do believe that Jalen probably will transfer somewhere next year because because sometimes if you transfer, you may end up like Blake Barnett, who's on his third school right now. He finally hit. So I just think that he may be wanting to stay at Alabama this year and go somewhere else next year. He may be content because Kelly Bryant would have been done if he played in the 5th game this year. But Jalen still has another year. So I say, hey, more power to the young man. He graduated in December, and I wish the best for him. But, hey, thanks for taking my call, Kyle.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Take it easy, buddy. Call in next time. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. Want to get your call. Want to talk to you about this squad taking on the Raging Cajuns this week. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. Be early. We'll be eating breakfast at Bryant Denny. It's a pretty nice setup for media, I'm not going to lie. So kind of behind the scenes, we'll get there around 8 o'clock, and I'm not kidding you, for the media, they'll be cooking up some omelets for us, and we'll head to our seats in the press box, man. I'm serious. They treat us well here in Tuscaloosa, which I'm extremely grateful for. 205-686-3604. Call in. Want to take your call and discuss Alabama football with you. It's been a good show. I appreciate the calls so far. We've got calls in from Ohio, Colorado, Phoenix, right here in Tuscaloosa. So spreading it out a little bit tonight on the calls, and I'm still waiting for my calls from Hawaii. Where you guys at? You guys, I know you guys are up. That's why I do the show so late, so you guys can get out of work and enjoy yourselves and call into the show. 205-686-3604. Read you some more notable stats for this weekend's game. Inside the series between Alabama and Lafayette, this is the 9th overall meeting between the two teams. Alabama leads the all-time series 8-0, with the last meeting dating back to 1990, with the Crimson Tide winning 25-6. Alabama has now won their last 36 of 37 games at Bryant Denny Stadium, 21 straight, and the last loss comes back on September 19th, 2015 against Ole Miss. Saban versus former assistants. Alabama's matchup against Louisiana Lafayette will be the 14th time that Nick Saban has faced a former assistant. It's pretty incredible. Nick Saban is 13-0 in these contests. Louisiana Lafayette is coached by Billy Napier, who was on Alabama's staff as an assistant between 2013 and 2016. Unranked, no problem. Alabama has defeated 76 consecutive unranked teams in a row under head coach Nick Saban. Alabama's last loss against an unranked team was against Auburn in 2007, losing to the Tigers 17-10. Nick Saban versus Sun Belt. Crimson Tide head football coach Nick Saban is 10-1 against the Sun Belt. At Alabama, he's 6-1. Remember, he coached at LSU, losing to Louisiana Monroe in 2007 in his first year at Alabama. Alabama has won, get this, 129 games since 2008. The Crimson Tide have won 129 games since 2008 under Nick Saban. That is crazy. That's the most in FBS. In 2008, they won 12 games. In 2019, they were a perfect 2009, they were a perfect 14-0. In 2010, they were 10-3. 2010 and 2011, they were also rolling in last year. As you know, they were 13-1. Points off turnovers. Check this out. The line is still open if you guys want to call. 205-686-3604. Points off turnovers. This is pretty incredible right here. The Tide has scored 52 points off 8 opponent turnovers this season. The Tide's defense has accounted for 21 points, all which come off interceptions for touchdowns. Remember, Shaheem Carter, Savion Smith, and Xavier McKinney have all returned interceptions for touchdowns this year. Pretty incredible. Alabama has played 13 true freshmen, and I put up the true freshman grades today on BamaInsider.com. You can take a look over there. Freshmen that have played: Ayabi Anoma, Slade Bolden, Skylar DeLong, Jerome Ford, Josh Jobe, Ali Cahoe, Cameron Latou, Jalen Moody, Patrick Surtain, who's played the most out of any freshman now starting at corner, Jalen Waddle, who starts at punt returner and comes out to play wide receiver, Xavier Williams, and Stephon Wynn, and Emil Ekiyor. Emil Ekiyor is an offensive lineman, likely going to be a center here at Alabama. And Stephon Wynn, remember, he was injured at the beginning of the season, saw his first playing time against Ole Miss. Most career starts for Alabama going into Week 5. Ross Pierschbacher, offensive line, 46 consecutive starts. That's pretty incredible. 5th start at center. Jonah Williams has started in 33 consecutive games. Damian Harris has started in 30 consecutive games. Lester Cotton at 22 consecutive games. 12 members of Alabama's football teams are graduates this season. Pretty incredible. Keaton Anderson, Josh Casher, Ronnie Clark, Johnny Dwight, Hell Hentage, Austin Jones, Derek Keefe, Christian Miller, Jamie Mosley, Richie Pettyton, Rosh Pierce-Bacher, and Deonte Thompson, all graduates. A lot of new faces at the assistant coach position for Alabama. Tosh Lapoy is the new defensive coordinator. Mike Loxley, new offensive coordinator. Both those guys doing a great job going into week 5. Dan Enos, who's the associate head coach and quarterbacks coach. Pete Golding working with the inside linebackers. Craig Kuligowski, associate head coach and defensive line. Josh Gaddis, wide receivers. Carl Scott, defensive back. And Josh Banks, special teams and tight end. That's pretty incredible. All these guys are new to the scene, right? Some have been here on the staff since last year. Tosh and Mike, but they're in new roles. And these guys are just doing such a great job. I think they are able to find good cohesiveness early on, and they're doing a great job not only on the field but recruiting. These guys have landed some big-time targets, and Alabama's still up there fighting for that number 1 recruiting ranking on Rivals.com. And Andrew Bone likely have a show tomorrow on Friday, September 28th, to talk about any visitors that Alabama has for this game against Louisiana Lafayette. I'll have the line open just for a few more minutes, and then we'll close it down. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. As I always say towards the end of the show, be good people. Be good people out there. Be good to each other. And if you're a member of the United States military, past or present, a civilian salute from our staff. We sincerely appreciate what you do for this country. Also, thanks to Mitch from Hawaii. Hooked me up with some chocolates, some coffee, some mango chewies, and of course these 2 lays from Hawaii, which are I'm really humbled that I'll be able to have some authentic gear from Hawaii. It means a great deal to me, honestly. So thank you so much. If there's no more callers, I'll catch you guys next time. We'll have our show on Sunday evening. We'll talk Alabama versus Louisiana Lafayette. Following the game on Saturday, we'll have Nick Saban's press conference. Tons of coverage back on BamaInsider.com. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, please email me at Kyle@BamaInsider.com. If you have any other questions that pertain to the website, Kyle@BamaInsider.com is the email. All right, hello, it's Kyle Henderson. You're on the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up? This is David from Utah again.
Hey, what's up, David? How you doing, man? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, man.
What's has it started to cool down in Utah yet, or is it still warm?
Man, I haven't been back in a couple weeks now. I'm in Cali right now, truck driving.
Oh, nice, man. I love Cali. Okay, it's hard you can't beat Cali. I love Cali. So
yeah, nice and hot.
You're on the show, man. So what's up? Go ahead, shoot.
Well, with this whole Clemson situation, I kind of want to just elaborate a little bit on it. It makes Nick Saban look even more of a genius. Come to think about it now. This whole time we're talking about him playing chess while we're all playing checkers. And the reason why is because I look at Clemson's situation, and it's I think they're in a worse situation now, because the Texas A&M game, if you saw that game, Bryant, he's the reason why they won that game. They put in Lawrence in the third quarter. He got that one good drive going. After that, he got stopped, and then they put Bryant back in. He scored those 2 touchdowns, which put them ahead, and that's the reason why they ended up winning that game. He even said he didn't do anything to lose the job off the field or anything. Clemson should have just left him in there, and it would have been his spot to lose as far as, because he's still a winner. He took them to the playoffs the year before.
Sure.
It's not like he's a losing quarterback, and so they should have just let him in there and bring Lawrence in to play, mop-up duty, kind of like how Saban was doing with Tua, to polish him up. And trust me, man, I'm the biggest supporter of Tua. I've been watching him since, St. Louis High School and everything. And, and now come to think of it, man, I'm glad Saban took his route, because that, give Tua the experience and mop-up duty time, and then pretty much prepared him for the championship game. That's kind of the same situation Clemson could have done, but now you're putting a bad taste in the coach's mouth. what that's going to put, recruits out there that doesn't want to come to their program now because they're going to be looking at this situation like, man, the coach can just leave me high and dry, for the next player. No matter if I've done my time, he did his time sitting behind, who was it, Watson, the quarterback before him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it just feels like Clemson's shooting themselves in the foot. They're playing checkers now. They should have played chess and just had Lawrence come in. Now Lawrence, true freshman, is going to have to win every game for them. He's injured, and they're done. It's no playoffs, no nothing. So, it just makes Nick Saban look like the genius that he is now, and I'm glad he did what he did,
Yeah, no, I think you bring up a great point. I mean, I think, that comes with Nick Saban having so much experience and him being honest with Jalen and Tua behind closed doors. I mean, Tua is the guy that is going to lead Alabama to their next championship, but you got to keep Jalen because just as Nick Saban said to open up the program, they're not hoping for Tua to get hurt, right? But if they have to, you want a quality quarterback that could come in and lead this team. Now, I know a lot of people don't, that they wish that Jalen would just dip out. That's not a good idea. I mean, having a player that has experience that can step up, in tough situations as we've seen Jalen do, Jalen's going to be that guy. And if he can help this team, Nick Saban is going to do his best job to get him prepared this year. And I think Jalen is smart. He's going to stick around and work with quarterback coach Dan Enos, work on his craft, get better. If he can contribute for this team in a tight spot down the road, that's awesome. If he can just finish out and graduate, which is an amazing accomplishment on its own, then hats off to Jalen because he's going to be a graduate. He's going to have led a program to 2 national titles in a row. Somebody's going to want him out there, and, it's going to work out well for everybody. Now, just like you said with Clemson, and now they got Trevor Lawrence, and they got to build up those other quarterbacks behind him. Kelly Bryant will now go to another school. We have no idea where that's going to be. It's a tough situation to be on right now because all your eggs are in one basket riding with Trevor Lawrence, where Alabama has 2 aces in the hole, so to speak, with obviously Tua just playing incredible. So you can keep him fresh, keep developing Jalen, whereas when you look to Clemson, it's just Trevor Lawrence. So the best has to play. You got to play the best guy, but it looks like Nick Saban was able to juggle this quarterback situation better than Dabo Swinney, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. I know you're out on the road a lot, man, so be safe, and please call in next time. I appreciate the call, always.
All right, man, take care.
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, good calling. 205-686-3604 if you guys want to call in. Was about to say goodnight to you guys, and that I'll catch up with you guys on Sunday evening. I've been playing with Thursday shows and Sunday shows. Hope that's been working out well for everybody regarding our YouTube channel. So I appreciate all the support, and anytime you guys have any feedback, just drop it in the comment box, and I'll be sure and get back to you guys. My email is kyle@bamainsider.com. I'm always here to answer your customer service issues with BamaInsider.com or, make your YouTube experience more pleasant. Had a good time tonight. Thank you so much. Again, Mitch in Hawaii, one more shout out. I'll definitely be wearing these on the show. Sincerely grateful that, you would put this together for me. And, I'll definitely, reciprocate, some sort of gift out to you, and I'll also pay it forward to somebody else. So I hope you guys had a good time tonight on the show. Thank you for joining us. I'll catch up with you guys next time. For Kyle Henderson, this is the BamaInsider.com live stream. Have a good week, everyone. The rest of your week. Have a great Friday. We'll catch up with you soon from Bryant-Denny Stadium. Be sure and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook, all that stuff. But all the coverage right here on our YouTube channel along with BamaInsider.com. Have a good night, everyone. See you soon.